Well, how's your day going so far? Mine's going fantastic. I've found a little bit of good coffee. I've got into the good word. And now I get to share a little time with some good friends. Um, Good coffee. Connex this morning. Oh, man, that makes the day better. And the good word finds us in Psalms. Looking at a few Psalms, anything between 22 and 27. But of course, what stands out is the 23rd Psalm. I actually wrote a book a couple of years ago, and it's been finished up, and most all the editing's done for over a year now. But I've been kind of holding off on it, and it's actually a book on the 23rd Psalms. First thing we're holding off on, we were supposed to actually be in Israel, and we have a friend over there, and his wife is pretty much an expert on the 23rd Psalm, and she was going to take me to where they believe that David wrote the 23rd Psalm, what they actually consider to be the valley of the shadow of death, that they call it there. And there's been some debates over when did David write this, He's going through a lot of things, and they possibly say, well, maybe it's when Saul was hunting him down, or maybe it's when he was in a deep despair over his child that was passing away, or maybe it's when Absalom rose up against him. And I've kind of begun to look at it a little differently. I think that David wrote the 23rd Psalm all the way through his life. And I think it kind of finished up there at the end. And he said, he's going to dwell in the house of the Lord forever. I think it basically tells out the story of David's life. I believe that every day he added a little bit to the 23rd Psalm. I think in the culmination we see in the way that his life was lived out. I want you to read that psalm today, and it's so short. It's only 6 verses, and the verses are really kind of divided into halves as you begin to see the way Hebrew poetry works. But I want you to read it a few times today. I'm going to go back over it myself as many times as I've read it, and like I said, as many times I've studied. I'm going to go back and look at it again too. One of the things that was supposed to take place in our Israel trip was that they had arranged for us to have supper and then spend the next morning and day with some Jewish shepherds over there in Israel. And to be able to see exactly what the 23rd Psalm means to them. And now I've arranged some Peruvian shepherds that I want to get a chance to visit with. And again, see what does the 23rd Psalm mean to an actual shepherd. The Lord is my shepherd. What does that mean to them? But, right now, I want to know what it means to you, my good friends here. What does that mean? And we talked sometime, Jesus talked about, that he is the good shepherd. So we realize, as we go from the Old Testament to the New Testament, that we realize that the Lord is my shepherd. And there we see Jesus Christ himself realized and foreshadowed. But what does that mean to you? It's one of the most memorized of the Psalms. The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. What does that mean to you? I'd love to see that in your comments. And if you would, go through the other verses and tell me what those mean. They walk through the valley of the shadow of the death. Remember the most important lesson to come out of that portion, they'll walk through the valley of the shadow of death, is to remember this. Keep walking. Don't stop there. Don't live there in the shadow of death, but the shadow of things that have happened around you. Keep walking. Walk through the valley. It's just that it's a valley. It's not a pit. It's a valley. There are times when you go through some things, but at the end, you find hope. So, again, what does that 23rd Psalm mean to you? Look, I hope that as we go through these journeys that we're actually writing psalms with the way that we live our lives and the things that come into our lives. Everything you come across is writing another chapter into the story of your life. And I pray that on every page, like David, you find God, the Good Shepherd, with you. Look, I love you. You hopefully know by now that God loves you, and get out there and kind of help shepherd someone else. Let them know that you love them as well. And I will see you tomorrow. Have a great day.